before I went to see the doctor, I was checking her out on the internet, and she looked like this beautiful lady. So when we meet her, she wasn't quite the image that I had seen. So before the thought even hit my head, it came out of my mouth. I said, "What happened to your face?"
Oh, you did not.
And my daughter, who was sitting there, she goes, "Please, my mom has tracks. Just
Real women, real lives, real stories. This is the Ladies in Power podcast. Unfiltered, unscripted, and refreshingly authentic. We're not holding back, and maybe after this, neither will you. Let's go.
Welcome to the Ladies in Power podcast. My name is Mika Casey.
I'm Sandeep Batha.
Dr. Soraya."
Gurvinder Dal.
And we are Ladies in Power just like you. We're going to be talking today about the art of conversation. Have you ever been in a room where you don't know anyone and you're like, how do I start a conversation? Or have you ever been in one of those conversations where somebody is just going on and on and on? Or maybe you're the person going on and on and on. And there's so many things to talk about conversation. We want to add value to your life with experience from our lives in working rooms around the world, really in different industries, and share with you some of the things that we've learned that are effective and ineffective so you can show up better in your rooms. So that's what this conversation is about for me. How about you?
I didn't know what art of conversation meant really until Sandeep explained it. I guess it is an art. I mean, everybody thinks we all converse, of course, but a quote comes to mind that someone said, "You're always interesting to people that you listen to." So people will call you very interesting if you've actually said nothing.
So
And
true.
listen to them say everything. So since I heard that, I've tried to keep my side of the conversation to as minimum as possible and ask people about them. Or if I feel that I'm rambling a little, I go, "Well, how about you? Enough about me, and how about you?" Because people feel more secure, they feel loved, they feel valued if you listen to them. So to me, art of conversation is how can I be quiet and let somebody else talk.
Wow. I love that.
Beautiful.
And you're so right. Sometimes listening is lost.
Mm.
And I think listening is a great asset to have. Something else I learned recently is that having a conversation starts before you open your mouth.
Oh,
So I
nice.
learned this from Vanessa Van Edwards. I was listening to her podcast, and I think we all intuitively know that a conversation starts before you actually open your mouth, but she laid it out. And so we're giving off this certain energy. Are we happy? Are we sad? Are we excited? And so before you open your mouth, a person gets to know what you're emanating out. So
Mhm.
before you open your mouth, know what your energy is, because when you walk into a room, or when somebody walks into a room and everyone turns around and notices them,
Oh, yeah.
it's their energy. And so let's think about, before we even open our mouths, even we start listening, and we start listening energetically. What are we sending out? What is this person sending out? Because we get all those feels. Even when we met our spouses, there was something that was about them that we wanted to converse. There's a reason why we wanted to talk to them.
I'm not so sure I wanted to talk to my man when I met him. I was not thinking about what that man has to say. I'll tell you.
That's funny.
Sometimes, perhaps. For some of us, there's a reason why we wanted to interact with our spouses.
Absolutely.
Mm.
How about you guys?
Yeah, for me, the art of conversation, I'm really excited about this topic because it is something I've been paying attention to. And the way I pay attention to it is usually after a conversation. So quite often I've been in conversations where time stands still. I have been in conversations with girlfriends where the birds start chirping because it's morning hours and we've just been talking nonstop,
Oh,
nonstop, and it's rich and it's soul filling. And there's other times where I'm driving home and I feel actually just very empty. Like I don't feel that there was any kind of meaningful exchange or that and so really I pay attention to what fills my soul. And I was really excited. And then I think about I watch, I observe, and I pay more and more attention to what's happening around conversations and that psychology between people talking. And I find for myself, I'm pulling back more and more because I realize I have lots to say, but I don't always have the interested party that's wanting to hear what I have to say.
mm,
So I find myself actually becoming a lot more quiet because I'm not interested in competing. And so that to me is sort of something that I started paying attention to is could I be doing that to someone else? Like, am I sometimes the one that isn't bringing in people to hear their point of view and helping them feel on their car ride home? That was a really great conversation. And
mhm,
you touched on it, Massa, really beautifully that sometimes it's just when someone feels listened to that feels like a really meaningful conversation to
mm.
them because they got to express themselves, they got to share their thoughts, and someone took interest. And so we'll dig in more. I'm really excited to dissect this topic with all of you. And so yeah, that's what the art of conversation meant to me is that dance between feeling fulfilled, having kind of that shared space where everyone's perspectives are at least invited. Not everybody may share, but at least we're inviting everyone's perspective to be part of that
Mm.
space and being mindful and considerate of it. That's the art for me.
I love when you shared that. I remember going for a walk with you once on the beach, and you shared with me, I think it was that time when you shared, I really pay attention to how I feel after a conversation with somebody. And it's really woken that up in me when you hang up the phone with someone, or you come out of a meeting with someone, or you leave dinner driving home with someone, how do I feel after being with that person? And also, how do I feel about myself? Like, how did I show up? I'm always looking at how did I show up? Did I talk too much? Did I listen okay? Was I fully present? And it's fascinating. I learned in thinking about this art of conversation, I was wondering what are the reasons that people don't necessarily listen as well or as easily as others, because it really is the art of listening that makes a great conversation, like you said, Massa. And our minds will deliver speech at an average of 225 words per minute.
Hmm.
And we think and process at an average of 500 words per minute. So that difference of 275 words per minute is an effort, a cognizant effort of being present. That takes, you're almost in a meditative state, and my mind will wander, wander, wander. And I have to consciously bring my mind back in. If someone is speaking really slowly or about a topic that I'm not yet interested in, I will find myself thinking about, did I take the chicken out for dinner? Have I called my mom? And I have to catch myself like compartmentalize that, put that away. This is like be present. And I find I'm wandering, coming back, wandering, coming back. And I think that is also the art of conversation, is the art of listening. So that's something that I found really fascinating. It gave me some grace because I really do find my mind goes a lot quicker and my mouth goes a lot quicker than some people that I talk to. And we have different personality types. Some people
Mm.
talk slowly, they think a minute before they respond. I am not that person. I am just from the gut, from the heart, from the download. However, it comes out, it comes out. I don't take a lot of time to think. However, I am good at being fully present and not forming my answer before it's my time to answer. Because I think a lot of people also are thinking about responding after the person you're in conversation with says something. You're already thinking about how you're going to argue with that or agree with that, or you're thinking of your own example with that. And therefore, you're not actually listening to the rest of what somebody else is saying because you're forming your own thought. So there's an awareness too of like shoving that aside, shoving that aside. And it really is active. It's active to listen, to be able to respond. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It saps your energy. I mean, if you have, no, really, it does.
It does.
And I always wondered why. And now I know why, because you're absolutely right. It's to be present takes energy. And like you, I have never thought about my conversations after, except when something popped out of my mouth that was totally so out of place. We just went to see a doctor for an issue that I had. So before I went to see the doctor, I was checking her out on the internet, and she looked like this beautiful lady. So when we meet her, she wasn't quite the image that I had seen. So before the thought even hit my head, it came out of my mouth. I said, "What happened to your face?"
Oh, you did not.
And my daughter, who was sitting there, she goes, "Please, my mom has tracks. Just she's like, sometimes that happens." So for about 2 hours afterwards, I'm like analyzing what made those words come out. She's still a very beautiful woman, but obviously not the picture that was. So please, if you're older than your advertisement or whatever, change your picture. We
That's
all
our
have
take-home message from
expectation.
today.
This is the take-home message from today. Match your face to your
Next conversation, the art of judgment.
Judge-
We're gonna go there. Okay.
or the art of zipping it. But apart from the faux pause that happens with me sometimes, I don't go home and I don't go, "Oh, was that a wonderful conversation? Wasn't it?" The way I judge it is by how I feel.
Uh-huh.
If a person makes me feel good, I pick up the phone, I talk to them. And this is very cynical, but as I'm aging, those people are shrinking by numbers. Like when you're young, you want to talk to everybody. You've got so many friends. Everybody is like in your circle. And like a girlfriend of mine said the other day, I have maybe 4 people in my circle that I will feel if I'm sad, if I need that energy boost, I'll pick up the phone and talk to them.
Who's the fourth?
My sister. My sister. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Mika. It is to be present, to honor the person who's talking to you. It does require you to slow down your brain waves, and that's sometimes hard work, especially if they're slow talk.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's rare. It's a rare thing to come by, I think, having someone who really makes you feel like you're the only person in the world.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And when you come across it, I speak for myself. I find it a very attractive quality in another human. And
Yeah.
not in a, that way, but just a very attractive. I'm drawn to that person. And I think, what you were saying, it just reminded me of that phrase of when we're listening to someone, are we listening to hear them
Mhm.
or are we listening to respond? And
Yes.
that, I don't know where I picked that up somewhere along the way, but it really helped me also to just fine tune that skill of before I'm formulating my response, because maybe it's an emotional situation. It's so much more effective to just say, who's really gotten good at this is my husband. Just to say, this is what I heard you say.
Mm.
Is this how you intended how you intended for it to land with me? And even just that momentary check in
Mm.
of, this is what I've heard. Is this what you intended, before you respond? Really, it's really changing, in a conversation. And sometimes we're not actually hearing the other person. We're formulating our response based on our past experience of whatever. Maybe there was a trigger word or a trigger phrase, and off we go formulating our response because that didn't sit right with us. But yeah, so there is, that presence is everything. And when somebody's listening to you, but they're kind of, their thoughts are drifting, I feel it immediately. That I do. I feel it immediately. And it's so subtle and it's so nuanced, but I now call it a superpower, that I have a super sensitivity to that. And so I just can recognize that, I'm not really I'm not giving value to this person, or this conversation is not really for
For
us.
them.
And then there's usually like a shutting down of what I was saying, or just a departure. I'll go get a drink, enjoy the rest of your night, because that presence for me is everything. And if I don't feel that connection and that presence, those are the times where I feel like I didn't, gain something from that conversation. But the more and more I kind of sit and observe and pay attention, it's very rare that I see people really just giving their full, um, all of them, or presence. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it is meditative. When you were saying that, I was like, you know what? It is a meditative state to really be in that space for that person and be in service of listening to them. If you've asked a question, sometimes people will ask me a question, I'm answering it, but maybe the interest wasn't really there. It was small talk, or, uh, but we feel it. I think, I don't know. Can you tell when someone's
Yeah,
like that?
they do
Mhm.
phase out. I
Yeah.
know what you mean. And I was just gonna say, honestly, I think you have the art of conversation. Like since the first day I met you, you are very, very good at conversing with people, finding their strengths, bringing it out to their attention, and making them feel valued. Like I think if that was one of your superpowers, I would say that's it. I think Gurvinder is great. She listens, and I think Mika is great because she kind of distills everything and then gives you a solution to it. So I think I'm learning from three of honestly best women ever, just by listening to you guys. Um, I know in the past my children have said like, "Mom, you're not hearing me." So I don't know whether I, like you were just mentioning, before I fully listen, I'm already making my own conclusions, or sometimes they go, "We don't want you to come up with an answer. We just want you to listen." So listening again has become the center point of a really good communication, I think. And one time my daughter said to me, "Oh, it was a really bad date. The guy talked about himself the whole time." So realizing how much space you're taking in a conversation, maybe, is somebody else letting you have a little bit of time so that you can respond back? I don't know. What do you think, Mika?
I think that you are an incredible conversationalist.
Wow.
I really do. Like, from the moment I met you, and I actually learn from you whenever, because for women running a podcast, you can only imagine the different emotions, the different energies, the different cycles, the different perspectives, right? We have four women from four different backgrounds and different belief systems around, from religion to politics to marriage, parenting. I mean, we have such diverse experiences, perspectives, and beliefs. And I find that you are so incredibly good at not attaching to anything and just giving your thoughts, and that's it. Like, it's not any bigger or any less. And I can tend to sometimes take things and try to understand them and analyze them, and my mom says it's a Virgo thing. I don't want to minimize it to be a Virgo thing. And then I think about Tony Robbins and the thing that he talks about, the 2 million-year-old brain,
Mm.
and how we're constantly trying to survive. And so if our survival mechanism is heightened based on experience of our life, whether it's being bullied or it's being ignored or it's being judged or it's low self-esteem, there's so many contributing factors that are going to influence our filter.
You're right.
And so our filter, therefore, some are clogged with, joy, and they hear everything as sunshine and rainbows, and they couldn't possibly have said something that was hurtful. That's not their character. And yet, one person would say that, another person would hear it as like that was so hurtful. And so it's just amazing when it just is. Like, this microphone just is. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is. One person might say it's a really crappy microphone. Another person would say it's absolutely beautiful. Someone would say the volume was too high, and someone would say the volume is too low. But at the end of the day, it's, well, where was your volume button? Was your volume button up so that you could hear it loud, or was your volume button loud down, and so you're blaming the microphone?
Mm.
There's so many contributing factors to the way we hear or respond or things land. And that all comes back to the 2 million-year-old brain of wanting to protect and keep us safe. So I find that I sincerely mean this, you have such a way of, I don't know if it's taking it with a grain of salt because I know that you care, but you have a sense about you of going about things without making them bigger than they are. To me,
Mm.
and I can sometimes have a sense of minimizing things, which is funny because I was always on the other end of the spectrum. I work so hard at making big things little that I think I'm on the other end of the spectrum and I need to find my happy medium. And how does that connect with art of conversation? It's about how things land is going to be in direct relation to how we respond.
Yeah.
And what is that energy that shows up in the room?
Mhm.
And so yeah, I agree. Like Sandeep is an extraordinary conversationalist. You're worldly. You've been all over the world. You've raised two extraordinary children. You have a beautiful relationship with your husband. All of that comes from experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a motherly, um, just graceful is the word, like so graceful way about you. And Gurvinder is the wise one in the group. I got to say, she's really the best listener.
She
And
is.
you really are the best list. Not that we're comparing, because I don't want to compare. Our last episode
She's a
was
very
comparison.
good.
It's the theme
She's a
joy.
very good listener.
And just to the point of the art, it is an art because
Yeah.
all four of us have extraordinary lives, great friends, self-respect, respect for each other, and yet we show up so differently from our own filters. And all those things are going to come through as we're forming a response, as we're listening. And so it is an art.
I just finished listening something. I just finished doing Tony Robbins' Time to Rise Summit, and I learned something really, really cool. I learned about the SO techniques. So you talk
Mhm.
about your state, then you talk about your emotions, and then you talk about what you want. And it's something that I use in my practice anyway. But hearing it from a different perspective and considering to use it with clients in the way he does was very interesting to me. So when he talks about state, when you're having a conversation with a loved one or whatever relationship or a friend, uh, what state are you in? So you let
Mhm.
them know what kind of state you're in. Well, I'm feeling it in my stomach, and it feels really, really tight.
Mm.
And then they'll ask, well, what emotion is there? "Mm, maybe I'm sad. Maybe I'm angry. Maybe I'm sad, angry." And then the W is, what do you want? Well, I want to feel happy. So I'm wondering, what if everyone started learning how to articulate certain things about, and starting with their state, talking about what emotion they are actually feeling and what is it that we want? Because isn't that why we're having the conversation? We want something, or maybe we're having a hard time articulating it, and maybe this is a great way for us to articulate exactly what we want.
I could see that with family, but I don't see that in social settings.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if we'll go up to somebody we have just met and say, I'm getting sad and angry.
Very
Here's
true.
what I want.
Very true.
And I want you
I love this
to
from
make
you.
me feel better. Go. But I totally
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Like, especially if you're interacting with your family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling this. So, like what I was sharing last night, I came home from the mosque and it was 11 o'clock, and my son calls me with all kinds of problems. And all I could say was, I can't help you right now. I'm hungry, I'm angry, I'm tired, I want to sleep. Yeah, and I want you to go away and bring. That's what I'm talking about. No attachment. Here's what it is. I want you to call me on the weekend with the same problem and I can answer you. But what I really liked from this conversation, what Sandeep was saying her husband does, is a lot of times the filters we're hearing things is you're right. If I've been hurt and bullied, whatever I hear is going to come across. So I heard this. Is that what you mean to say? Is very, very helpful to me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, if I feel like I'm being attacked, my first emotion is attack, especially at work. If somebody questions something that I do, my response is attack. And one time my daughter said, she didn't mean to attack you, Mom. She meant it just as a question. Like, for example, why are we starting the day at 9 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock? And I'm like, what do you mean? The production is low. Of course, we're going to start it at 9 o'clock. And it was just a question, why aren't we going 11 to 8 rather than 9 to 5? So you're absolutely right. Based on the filters, your expectation, whether it's a subordinate that's talking to you or a loved one, you could even the same question coming from two different people could be completely
absolutely.
received differently. So I think going back to, is that how you meant to say it, or are you understanding me because I don't mean to be hurtful, it was really helpful to me. Yeah.
And Jefferson Fisher is a communications expert, and he talks about that on his podcast too. He was at an airport and started going the wrong way in the terminal, and there was a TSA agent that said to him, "Sir, you're going the wrong direction, sir. Don't you know where to go?" And he's like, I had to muster up all my energy, take a breath, turn around, and say to her, "Do you mean to sound like that?" And he said it in a neutral way, and he's like, "I'm an expert. I know how to." He's like, "But I just wanted to be angry at that moment because I'm flustered. I did realize I was going the wrong way." But he says, when someone is saying something to you, have techniques in your back pocket and say, "Do you mean to sound like that?"
I love that.
And then the ball is in their court, and they can reset themselves and actually say it again, because he says usually they'll say it again. Usually they don't say it again, and they will recognize what they've done, and they will be nicer.
It still comes down to perspective.
Yes,
Because
it does.
you're receiving it in a way
Yes,
based on your
100%.
experience
Yeah.
and your ego. This
Yes.
particular scenario sounds like an ego. To a person that is mundanely saying the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
So I see so many elements, and it's the human response. It's I mean, I could see how it would take everything to just respond elegantly and not
Elegantly.
be like, "What do you mean? Of course I know I'm going." Like, I mean, and that again is all based on how are you letting that in? Am I seeing that person from utter compassion that this role that they're in is giving them purpose, and their intention is really to serve, because this is their life. And thank you so much. Yes, I just realized I was going the wrong way, and I'm so grateful. There's so many different ways of responding, and it's all that's where the art of conversation. Does it serve me to get frustrated with somebody if I'm having an expectation, or my ego's coming in the way, and reacting or praising myself for not reacting? Again, is my ego versus having utter compassion for where that person is at right now, and what it's almost like assuming that everyone is coming from love, and assuming everyone is coming from good, and if they're not, it's because something else is going on. Like, how wonderful would it be if we could all come from that place all the time?
100%, but it's hard.
It's
Mika.
hard.
Of course
It's like
hard.
you're,
Of course it's hard.
you're on a flight, you're
Of
sleep
course it's hard. I'm
deprived,
not saying- Yeah.
you're like the time difference is like 6 hours, and you're finally got to your destination, and then you're going the wrong way.
There's
I'm-
always reasons.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a reason. And if at the end of the day we want to feel good and we want to add value, can we make the reason different? Can we
Yeah.
can we forget about our experience and where we're coming from? And I mean, that's just, I don't know. It's just conversation.
You know, she's right. If we're honest, if we really come from a point of compassion, because ego is there all the time,
Mhm.
whether it's with your kids, they shouldn't be talking to you that way. If it's your,
Yes.
at work, you're the boss, they shouldn't be talking to you that way. If you put ego aside, you're 100% right. Even the worst instructions or the way somebody talks to you, you can mellow it out and have a very nice, loving conversation. But something triggers in us,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Yes,
I
that's
was
the
gonna
So
say,
thing.
something triggers.
It's the
Yeah.
Hulk and Dr. Banner.
Yeah.
It's like how do you get your Hulk side?
Yes.
Because your nervous system is alert, alert, alert. Everything is alert. The
Yeah.
red lights flashing everywhere.
Yeah.
In that split second, what are the tools and techniques that we have in our back pocket that we'll take out and say, God, I need this right now.
Mhm.
I really need this right now, and use so you don't turn into a Hulk.
Mhm.
What are those?
What are those? Something to think about. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What sometimes I struggle with people that are especially in the service-based industry.
Mhm.
When I see that they're doing their job and really, really doing their best to bring people down. Like they're not there to and yes,
What
they
do
could
you
be
mean?
like if
Oh my
they're
gosh.
miserable, and we can agree there's a certain sense
Yeah.
of
They're doing
misery.
their best to put people down.
Well, they're just not they're not helping
They're not
people.
happy.
They're not happy themselves, and there is an agreed upon state, which I think if you line up 100 people, 98 of them would say that this person is not happy. They're
I know what she means. I know exactly what she means.
And I-
Do you think they
but-
intentionally want to ruin your day?
No, it's like
there are people like that.
Yeah.
it's like a
Yes.
it's like if
there
you
are.
go into an
I
office
don't believe that.
and a
Yes.
receptionist is
Yes.
supposed to be happy.
Well,
Or
like
at least
someone-
say
I
hello.
won't put that expectation on it, but there are people, in certain industries, it's usually service based.
Yeah.
But they're not either they're lacking awareness, and that's what I usually default to, that, they don't have the awareness of.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, it could be how I'm receiving it. So I will definitely agree that there could be ego involved. And, what my expectation is sure plays into it. But there are people that they're not doing a service to the job that they're in.
Mhm.
They could be polite. People are politely asking for something, and they're going to bite back.
Right.
Yes.
And it's uncalled for. And I think it's not something that is a one-off. Sometimes people just bring that demeanor and they're not aware of it. So I'll give you an example. Like years and years ago when I was at university, I remember walking along campus and somebody walked by me and said, "Smile."
Oh.
And I remember just thinking, like interesting. Because I realized that in that moment I was caught in my RBF, like the resting face, and I didn't even know what that word was back then. But I just took it as almost like a positive. Like, it didn't see it as a negative. I thought,
Mhm.
wow, someone thinks I should smile. And, maybe I should pay attention to that. Maybe there's something that I was in an unawareness of myself,
Mm.
of how I was coming across. So I do think sometimes we can offer, like that, if that person had to come into that state and get neutral, and they would maybe, as an act of service, just bringing some awareness to how that person was perceived by them, sure, but maybe they're perceived by more people than that. And maybe
Mhm.
just in that interaction, they were able to bring light to that person who might not be
Yeah.
aware.
Yeah.
But also that person could also be saying, well, in my mind, I'm just having a bad day, or that person could be receiving them certainly too. So there's all of that plays into it. But I don't think, I do think some people just are unaware of how they impact people that they're in contact with.
How do
And
you bring that
yeah.
into the conversation? Like if you're with somebody in the service industry, as your example, and you're perceiving them as to being not in a great state or whatever, not um, serving you the way that you would like.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that in the art of conversation?
I have done this. So I'll share the example that I've done, as I've just asked the person, how's your day going?
Oh, nice.
Just to check in.
Yeah.
How's your day going?
Beautiful.
They can answer honestly.
Mhm.
They don't have to answer at all.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But at least it's that momentary connection that I see you, I feel you. And I don't know if you're always like this, but just to check in. How are you doing? How's your day going? And sometimes they might
Yeah.
say, it's been awful.
Yeah,
you know,
thanks for
or
asking. Yeah.
it's fine. Like, what else do you want? Whatever it is, how they're going to respond. But yeah, that's just an opening that I've used because I realize it's not necessarily about me, but can I help this person in that moment? That's one thing I've used. Have any suggestions from any of you?
I've used the Jefferson technique.
What is that?
Is do you mean to sound like that?
Oh, do you mean to
Do you mean
sound
to
like?
sound like that?
Yeah, because then they'll go,
Because
what do you mean?
well, usually they'll recheck and say and quickly think to themselves, I actually didn't mean to sound. I didn't
Mhm.
realize I was, there was
Mm.
probably resting
B face.
face
Yeah.
or resting mood.
Yeah.
And they didn't realize that that's
Resting
what
bitch face. Resting bitch mood. I don't have a beeper.
And so maybe they, like Sandeep said, maybe they just don't realize that that's what they're walking around like. And it just takes a split second and they're like, I didn't realize that. And sorry, sir, how are you? Or
Yeah.
sorry, sir, I didn't mean, yes, you go in this direction instead of, you have to follow the doors here or follow this here.
Can I bring this into the art of conversation for somebody that's at a party and they
Hmm.
don't know anybody?
Mm.
And they're walking in the room and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm by myself. I need to go start a conversation. I know for me, when I walk into a room, I'm looking for the people that are standing open.
Mhm.
So by open, I mean if they're completely face to face, if they're two, it's my awareness or my opinion that they are in a conversation, and I'm not going to join them because they're standing completely face to face,
Mhm.
and their body language says that they're in conversation. I'll look around the room for somebody that's either by themselves or they're in a group where they're open. Their shoulders are slightly open, which indicates to me that they're welcoming somebody that wants to join the conversation. And then when you join the conversation, it's about listening to the conversation and waiting for them to invite you into it. Like, oh, hi, so and so, or what are your thoughts on this? Or we're just talking about XYZ. And so on the flip side to that is if you are the person in the conversation with someone else and there's someone coming to your group, it's great to have that awareness that they're standing there and not to leave them awkwardly standing there for too long, to take the lead and say, welcome, here's what we're talking about. And just addressing them, acknowledging them so that they don't feel ignored, number one, or
Mhm.
they're not don't be the one that bullies in or boldly goes into a conversation, listens for 30 seconds, and then jumps in with your opinion. That's probably not a great way to build rapport. And we need to build rapport in conversation. That's something I wanted to touch on as
Yeah,
well.
right.
Mm.
Building rapport, and you can look it up. There's a lot of different ways to do building rapport. It's finding common ground with somebody, whether it's physically standing the way they're standing, or you could go the level of breathing the way that they're breathing. If they have their arms crossed, you can cross your arms. There's ways of matching and mirroring people so that they feel comfortable, they feel at ease. And it feels weird. You think this person's going to know that I'm copying them, and you'd be really shocked to know, as long as you're not, you know, doing everything the same and making it really obvious. There's a subtle sense of connection that people feel if their voices are really loud and boisterous or they're very soft. You want to cognizantly come into the conversation doing your best to match their volume, their tone. There's so many different ways of building rapport, building connection with the group before you even open your mouth. So those are some tips that I wanted to share on joining a group or being open to somebody joining your group.
And what are great conversation starters? I'm really just learning right now, going to different events. What have you guys, what do you guys say for conversation starters?
You're
When
really great at that, Masa.
I don't know about that.
You're so great. You always come in with a conversation or a question. You're great at asking questions.
I was just thinking about what Mika was saying and how I was at a party and exactly that. If
Huh.
you see two people that are head to head and they seem to be having a private conversation, the worst thing is to butt in front because obviously they have that closed. If it is a group, exactly like what you say, I usually just stand there with a big smile on my face and I say nothing. And I try and catch what it is that they're talking about. Is it something that I can get involved? And then, exactly like Mika was saying again, I wait for that invitation. Like, oh, hi, who are you? And, or what do you think about this? Or what is your name?
Uh-huh.
Like somebody notices you and brings you into
Yes.
this. If there, I'll just stand with a big smile and wait for that invitation. But I usually start with, "Oh, hi, who are you?" And who are you? I go, "Who are you?" And how do you know the guest? Or if it's a wedding, is it the bride or the groom?
Yes.
Or yeah, I think that's my to go. With a usually, if you have a big smile, people don't even hear what you're saying. They smile right back.
Yeah.
So true.
It's so
Yeah.
true.
It is true.
Yeah.
What brings you here today is something that
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
like to lead in with no matter where I am, if it's a networking event or regardless. Hi, what brings you here today?
Nice.
Or yeah, it really depends on the situation. How about you? You're always in new rooms and
Yeah, I am. I enjoy that. I ask the same thing. What brings you here? How do you know the host?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your connection? Have you been to this event before? Uh, just I think curiosity for me, it's all about I'm
Nice.
genuinely curious. I love to meet people. I love to learn about people. So it's just my questions that naturally are flowing. Whatever the topic is, what'd you think of the topic? Um, anything. I love asking as we get a little bit further into it, like what's exciting in life for you? What are you enjoying doing? What makes you smile? Just trying to get something other than the weather and,
Uh-huh.
those kind of things, but just trying to get a little bit about that person.
That was a good question.
Okay.
what about the conversation turns to gossip? What do you do?
Oh, we talked about that yesterday. We learned a lot.
I think most of it depends when I'm with I find that when I'm with extended family, I will sit, find an excuse to grab some water,
Mhm.
and then just take off.
Okay. How about you?
Just a nice smile and go, not my cup of tea.
How about you today?
Oh
Not
my God, I'm
yesterday.
having it
Today.
today. So if it's about like celebrity and stuff, bring it on. Right? Who had a facelift? Why? Why does Brad Pitt look so good? So if it's something like that, no, I won't walk away. If it's something about somebody I like or or coworker, especially a coworker, as of yesterday, I say, well, I don't think it's appropriate and I don't want to be part of it.
What if you don't
Yeah.
like them?
Bring it on. No.
Notice she's trying to make it a somebody I like or a coworker. So what is this
Oh my
next level
God.
version of this
I mean,
woman
if
here?
it's Bin Laden, bring it on. I don't care. The guy was a bad guy.
Oh.
But if,
Mm.
I don't think, joking aside, any kind of gossip, it's not good. I think Prophet Muhammad said, gossiping about people, it's like being like a vulture.
Yeah.
And I think that image, every time I think of it, nobody wants to be a vulture. So,
Hmm.
no, it's not good.
So when you're in a conversation with somebody at a party or an
Yeah.
event or whatever, and they start gossiping, what do you do? What would you share for our viewers, our listeners, on how to navigate
Like, what would
that?
they say? What would be saying? Like, oh, Mika, that girl.
Oh my gosh, that girl, she's sleeping with so and so, or her
And I
husband
say,
is
have you
sleeping
seen
with
it?
so and
Have
so.
you
Oh, so
seen
you
it?
would engage?
Yeah, I would be like, what the hell? Have you seen it? Like, why would you open your mouth and say something like
I
that?
did see it.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
So why are you telling me?
Mm.
What? Ooh, that was beautiful. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you must go to YouTube and see the look on Masa's face.
telling
She
me
just
this.
looked at me like, wow, pierced my heart with that one. That was beautiful. Good girl. How
Yeah.
about you, Sandeep?
I feel like I was trying to think of this answer. I just feel like people sense something about me. I don't get the initiating
No.
gossipers
Mhm.
to me.
Yeah, same.
There's some kind of invisible something that I must put out
Yeah.
that I'm not interested. I'm not going to engage. So I don't really come across it very often to speak about my experience with it. But if they say something like we were talking in another conversation about if somebody says, "Oh, that's Sandeep, what was she wearing?"
Yeah.
If, my response to that would be, "Yeah, I loved her outfit. What an awesome, unique
Mhm.
choice."
Yeah.
So you just flip it.
Yeah.
If the question is trying to get you to
Engage.
engage that way, that's an easy one.
What about religion or politics?
I'm not interested. There's very few people that I will talk about either of those topics with.
Yeah, but if you walked into a conversation or a conversation started about that, what's your art of conversation in navigating that?
I usually tune out.
Do you walk away or do
Yeah,
you
I can walk
just check on
away.
your phone? What does tune out look like for you?
I'm not going to participate in the conversation, usually.
So do you leave or do you?
Not necessarily, but I'm not going to offer an opinion or
Hmm.
react to anything that anybody's saying.
Hmm.
They're engaging, and it's also interesting to hear what people want to share about their views on topics. But those aren't two that I discuss with very many people.
Yeah.
Very small
So
circle that I'll discuss.
Yeah, I agree. I
what
mean,
would you do if you?
I think I would say, guys, I don't want to get into a fight, and this always leads to a fight. I mean, you believe what you believe in. I mean, my husband and I, two different religions, I mean, he thinks he's an atheist. He thinks he's an atheist. So this is nothing to do with the art of conversation, but you're going to hear it. So in Islam, when you die, you get buried. And he wanted to be cremated. So I'm like, no, you're not going to be cremated. So I already bought him a plot of land right beside mine. We're going to bury the guy. Like there are some things you just don't fight with people about. And religion and politics, he talks religion to me or politics, I'll just walk away. Don't want to fight.
Okay, so for you it's fight.
Yeah.
Walk away from a fight. Okay,
Yeah.
how about you, Gurvinder?
When it's religion and politics, I guess it depends on who I'm speaking to.
Like your advice to we're giving advice or thoughts to our listeners on how to navigate that situation.
Um, I think I would read the room, read the person I'm with, and decide if I want to converse or not. And I wouldn't say it, but internally I would be saying to myself, it's not my cup of tea, and I choose to not converse here because I don't think this is going to be win-win-win, and I want interactions to be win-win-win. And if I'm sensing that it's not, then I'd rather just say okay and turn around and find my way. But I did wanted to bring something up when the kids come to me and someone is not getting along with the other person. I'm always letting them know to step back. Like, how were you feeling before you interacted with your sister? What was going on? The way you the way you responded to her, could it have been different? So I'm always talking to the kids about how they are interacting with each other. Was the other person, did the other sibling have a bunch of exams and was just so tired when she arrived home? And then you asked for something and she bit your head off. I'm always trying to peel back and getting my young adults and my teenagers to really look at how they show up. So I think that's something that we can all do too when it comes to the art of conversation. What is it? How are we bringing ourselves and can we apologize faster?
Yeah.
Can we really apologize faster and say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you for listening and I love you. Hapano.
I want to.
Sorry, could we ask you the same question? I'd love to hear what you have to
Yes,
say about
thank you, because I really want to share. I feel very blessed that my husband's father was a politician, and my grandfather was a politician. And so my grandfather coming from Poland and being through World War II and, rescuing my grandmother from a concentration camp and adopting his deceased brother's children when he died in the war. And I mean, I just had such beautiful examples of my life of being able to talk politics without
Mm.
being offended.
Mhm.
And so I love the conversation. I really feel like I want to learn and understand your thinking, your thought process, because I'm not like I believe a certain way based on what I know. And I am so eager to know what you know that leads you to believe that you know different or better than I. So I've learned that art of curiosity from my grandfather, who was a very liberal voter, and from my father-in-law, who is a very conservative voter. And they like I just find that the humanness of us, the human being in us, has a deep sense of belonging.
Mm.
If we don't belong, we're not enough. And if we're not enough, we won't be loved. So the underlying, as you were saying, is what's happening before this that led to that. When I'm aware of it, because sometimes I get emotional and I'm not aware. If I'm grounded and I'm a conscious and I'm aware and I'm coming at it from a grounded place, then I'm able to have a conversation with I can sit with you and debate about all the things and why liberal is phenomenal, and I can debate with you why the conservative is phenomenal. I really can. And I think that also came from when I was going in school for psychology, and we had this debate, and the room was divided into two, and one room had to fight for why prostitution should be legal, and the other room, the other side of the room, and we had, I think it was like 3 weeks or 3 months or something. It was such a long time where we really had to research and go out and interview people, interview prostitutes and interview parents. I tell you, I came in with who the hell am I to decide whether you want to sell your body or not? That is your body. That is your choice. And you know what? I'm not saying that you should go and sleep with married men. That's not my choice either. I have an opinion. I'm not going to condone it, but I'm not going to not like you because you have a different opinion. And so that is a very difficult. I'm not saying that they're going to be in my life and be my best friend, but can I have a conversation with
Mhm.
somebody? Absolutely. Am I going to leave the conversation because it's uncomfortable? No, I'm not. I'm not. I will do my best to be curious and to learn about that. So I feel extremely blessed to have all of those role models and experiences in my life that can land me in any room. And at the same time, I think about growing up with very little, many years of my life, we lost our homes, we lost everything, and we had powdered milk, and we shared our house with family. And I mean, there were times of struggle, and then there were times where, as I grew up and grew older, I had the privilege of traveling in private jets with billionaires and being engaged to a prince. And I've had an extraordinary life. So I've had this blessing of being with extreme wealth and poverty, and seeing the similarities in everyone.
Mhm.
And the struggle is real no matter how much we have.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I don't want to hide who I am or judge where you are as best as I can. Um, and that helps me in the art of conversation.
Uh-huh. Thank you for asking.
Thanks for answering.
Yeah, so I think in that I heard compassion again.
Uh-huh.
You have the compassion to hear both sides and not be
I
judgmental
do my
about it.
best. I do
Yeah.
my best. There's definitely, like Gurvinder mentioned, if I'm coming in an emotional state, and that's my responsibility. At the same time, I'm human. So I can, like Tony Robbins says, physiology first. I can stand in the superwoman pose. For those of you that don't know, it means standing on your feet, grounded with your hands on your hips and your chin up, and you are just standing in that strong pose. And it's proven that after 2 minutes, you will change your state. Your breathing changes, your mood changes, your confidence changes, your cortisol lowers. And so, yes, if I am in a crappy state and I am aware of it and I get my hands on my hips and I get into a great state, then I can probably go into any conversation and handle it with grace. But I'm not always in a great state. And
Uh-huh.
so I take responsibility for the times that I come into a conversation where I'm we're not at my best.
I'm always trying to improve like over the last number, especially the last 2 years, I'm always trying to improve my communication skills because I see what I taught the kids, and I cringe. I'm like, oh, I taught the kids how to do that. And so over the last couple of years, I'm like, how can I improve? Because the kids, we have mirror neurons, whatever I'm doing, the kids will do. So the kids aren't going to follow what I say. They're actually going to follow what I do.
Mhm.
So I'm always trying to figure out, how do I communicate better? How do I do this better? Especially communicating. How do I communicate better? How do I articulate better so that the kids pick up the new stuff that I'm learning and not bringing in my old habits, because some of my old habits were not great. So that's one of the reasons why I'm always wanting to learn how to communicate better, because I'm so aware that my kids picked up things that I used to do. And I'm like, "Ugh, how do I change this? How do I change this? Because they're doing things that I did in the past, and I need to revamp skills, and I need them to pick up my new skills. Kids, pick up my new skills."
That's a very important piece that you just said. I need them to. And that's the art of surrender, which could be a whole other topic.
Topic
That
for
would be a
us.
beautiful topic.
I have a question, guys. Is like a TED Talk an art of conversation?
Yes.
Yes.
Because some people, I mean, I've listened to some TED Talks, they talk, right? And it's just like you're mesmerized by a full hour.
Mhm.
And there are other TED Talks that I've been to, and it's like, oh my God, get me
Paint
out
dry.
of here. Yeah, so I think there is definitely, I think it's Toastmasters that has a really good program about how to talk, how to give speeches, even if it is to a wedding. It doesn't have to be a full TED Talk, but to hold the room captive for 5-10 minutes. And some of the TED Talks, if you listen to, it's how they use their body, their sound. They go up and down instead of being monotonous. Using their hands when they're talking about tall people, they put their hands up, versus short people, they put their hands down. Use their bodies, use their facial expressions, like the Italians do. And so all of that comes into conversation, because it's not just the words, like we were saying. It's body language, is how you're leaning in, is how high or low you go. And I've taken some courses with them, and you were asking what for the listeners, maybe check them out, because it's a wonderful program, and you can learn little tips, like not saying or ahs.
Or I
They would
like,
actually
or
count
so.
our ums
Yeah.
and ahs. You did 20 ahs in 1 minute of speech. So it's a good program to learn how to speak.
So Toastmasters.
Yeah,
Toastmasters, they're all
Toastmasters.
over the world. Yeah,
Okay.
they're all over the world. It's a great organization. It's like less than $200 a year.
Yes,
I was
it was
the
so cheap.
That's for honing
president
your
of my
presentation
Toastmasters.
skills.
Oh, of course you were. What? Sorry,
I
what
was
did
going
you
to say
say?
that's for honing your presentation skills.
Yeah,
Conversation to me always, for me, it feels like it should be between, it's
two
something
people.
between people, or there's more than two people, or two people in the conversation. It's a back and forth.
Yeah,
What you're describing is sort of how you show up to present yourself.
good
If you're maybe
point.
speaking to an audience, or maybe doing a presentation. But
It's great. Yeah, absolutely. There's a difference between delivering a speech and
Speech and
having a conversation. For
Conversation.
those of the watchers and listeners that are a little nervous, or a little intimidated, or a little shy, or not really having confidence to engage in a conversation, Toastmasters would be a great entry point to practice those. The art of eye contact, like you were talking
Yes.
about, the physical movements. Yeah, because monotone, when someone is talking like this and they're talking like this for quite a while, and I'm exaggerating a little. However, there are some people, or the ones that are really soft spoken, and everybody's neck hurts from leaning in for 10 minutes. And, yeah, so there's a lot of things that can be learned in Toastmasters that could apply for sure
For your
in building
conversations.
confidence into,
I'm also trying to grow and evolve. And one of the things I think I've been doing lately, and the only two people that have been busted on this is I'll be mid-sentence and, because people are so excited. There's a really animated conversation and you're saying something, I get cut off mid-sentence. And I have actually said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to finish my thought."
Yes.
Or
yes.
I know you probably didn't mean to cut me off, but I just want to finish my thought. And all of a sudden there's this awareness that comes to that person. And it's something that, I have just struggled with. And so I just said, I'm gonna just own my space and come in and say, I'd love to finish my thought because I am in the middle of a sentence. And I do want to share what I want to share. And people don't, never is it intentional or with any malice, but I think that excitement in the other person, but even just getting to a place of having the courage to say, I'd love to finish it, or I'd love to go back to what I was saying once you finished your thought, and just allowing that awareness to build for myself too, to recognize that I was, cut off. Sometimes it doesn't feel good.
So this is what I mean by Sandeep, like having a way with words. That is so polite. It is so kind. I would be, hello, excuse me, I was talking. Like that's where I come through as brash or like really, that would be me. Like I was talking, but I love the way you said that.
But the way
Seriously.
you say it is taken always beautifully. I don't think anyone is offended by the way
No,
the way
No,
no.
because you're not holding any energy on it. You're like, excuse me, I'm not finished yet. And then you keep going. There's no need to like stop and be like, oh my God, or make this bigger than it is.
I was just trying to memorize it. Like I was trying to put it into my head. Like, hey, so calm with such nice nature, with a big smile on her face. I hope that I hope you guys can
You
see
receive it well.
this.
Maybe other people don't receive that well.
I
And
like
there's a
that.
detachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So say that again.
No.
Excuse
I have a different
me.
perspective.
Guys, you
Okay, I want to hear say it again, please, because she wants you to say it again.
Yeah.
if my sentence is cut off,
Yeah.
I'll just say, I would love to finish my thought.
I would love to.
Love to just
I
finish
would
my
love.
thought.
I need
It's
to
about
memorize it.
me.
And then
I want to
love hear
memorize
about
it.
It's about me. It's not you did this to me, right? So
Yeah.
there's the difference. I'm
And
not.
I would love to hear what you want to say. So either like I'll finish my thought, once but just I do bring that awareness now because I think people don't recognize that. And I consider myself valuable in a conversation. I do enjoy conversations, but I do think we sometimes lose sight of, are we letting people finish their thoughts before we're interrupting them? And so just bringing a little bit of awareness to that.
I love that.
I just don't feel, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't know. I am an interrupter. I am an interrupter. I find like, you don't say. No, but I like when somebody interrupts me because the meaning that I've given that, and this is like the meaning we give something is what leads to the emotion. What meaning are we giving it? For me, the meaning is they're so engaged in my part of it that they want to participate. So for me, it's the greatest validation that they're listening because they're like so excited that they can't even let me finish, that they want to contribute. So it's a back and forth of excitement and energy that is like I just have a different
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful that you
yeah.
have a different
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah. I
if
actually
I'm
never thought of
interrupting
that.
you,
Yeah.
it's because I'm freaking engaged with you. I'm not waiting for you to finish so I can speak. I'm like, wow, that's freaking awesome.
Right.
Honestly, I never had that perspective, Mika.
Yeah.
And okay, so I'll be kinder to those people. Yeah, you're right. Maybe they're so, but I'm more with Sandeep in the sense that can I please finish my thoughts before you jump in with your excitement? Because now I've forgotten what I wanted to say.
Which is great.
Which is
I mean, sure, there's, look, I'm not like, there's definitely been times where I've said, I'm not done. Like, definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. But I guess I'm not planning it. That's the thing. I'm if I really feel like I haven't been heard and this is something that I really want to finish, then I will for sure. But it's not all the time. That's the thing, I think.
How about you then?
I use something similar with the kids. Again, it's the kids that Sandeep uses. when I'm talking and the kids interrupt, I'm like, kiddo, would you mind holding on to your thought? Just hold on to your thought for mommy.
Oh,
Just hold on to your thought.
that's really elegant.
Yeah.
And so I'm letting them know that whatever they want to say is important. Just let me finish. And it's also letting them know that there are adults in the room and you don't get to come in and interrupt all the time. And so it's something that I used with them since they were younger. Kiddo, just hold on to your thought. But I need to learn the adult skills too.
I'm just starting to practice that.
And Vin Jiang, maybe I'm saying his name wrong. Maybe it's right. Vinhging is a communications expert, and he talks about all the stuff. So I'm following Vin, Jefferson, Vanessa, Tony, just learning from all these communication experts and trying to hone my skills. So there's a number, all on YouTube. So many free things that we can find on YouTube. Just going on there, going into workshops, or just going on YouTube and learning new skills, because God's given us this voice. And Vin says this, we only use a small part of our communication skills. A piano has 88 keys, and we have at least 88 different sounds coming out of us. So why not learn new skills? Why not learn how to use our voice in a discreet way, in a loud way, or in a soft way, or hone in our listening skills? There are so many different things we can do with our voice, and we have a lot of control of it. So why not learn new skills to communicate and see if we can hone in on what we can learn?
Biggest takeaway for you?
I think I will go back to my default. What comes from the heart will sit on the heart. At the end of the day, if this is too much and you've got all these people and you're trying to fit into 100 different molds, just talk from your heart, be honest, and be compassionate, like Mika said, because if those three things are there, I don't think you can go wrong.
How would you?
Love it.
I would say my takeaway is there are many perspectives on what makes a great art of conversation, and show up as your authentic self in any room, and you'll find your people. And
Yes.
if you have a style that loves to be, bold and vivacious and the chatter, all of that, to enjoy that, then you'll find your people. And if you're someone that enjoys a different type of communication style, whether it's quieter, softer, meaningful, deeper, whatever, you'll find your people. And all of that is beautiful, but I think you have to show up as yourself. And I don't think I no longer want to mold myself to mirror anyone else. I just want to be me. And if you love me, great. And if you don't, I'm A-okay, because I love me. And I've grown into that. And that's it. I'm just going to stop there. I'm just going to be me in the rooms I enter. Yeah.
Well said.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Well,
How about you?
I like to mold to the people that I'm in front of. I do. I like to meet people where they at when I'm aware of it. I will go and morph myself into different situations. Yeah, if the room is big and bold, I'll be big and bold. If it's not, I won't be. So I do my best to meet people where they're at. Yeah. So I guess that's it. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
No.
It's
never.
it's up to you. And I love what Sandeep said. It's how you feel when you walk away from a conversation that says it all.
If you ever think about it after.
That's so great. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Please subscribe, share this with your friends. If there's someone that you know that would love to listen to four women with four different opinions, they are welcome. And we look forward to your commentary, your feedback. And thanks again. We'll see you on the next one. So with that, see you next time.
The views shared on this podcast reflect our personal experiences and opinions. This content is not a substitute for professional advice. Please consult a qualified expert for any medical, legal, or mental health concern. If this conversation spoke to you, please follow the Ladies in Power podcast and leave us a review. Your voice helps more people find this sisterhood and these conversations. Together we rise. And remember, your voice matters here.